Okay, so you sent us a really interesting collection of stuff this time. Diddy's arrests celebrities fleeing the country, whispers of a massive cover-up.
Yeah,
It's really giving major whodunit vibes, wouldn't you say?
it really does have all the elements.
Yeah.
Yeah, high-profile figure, a web of interconnected players,
Right.
and secrets that people are very invested in keeping buried.
Exactly. And we're gonna try to untangle it all today.
Yeah.
The first thread that really caught my eye was the curious case of Kevin Hart.
Ah, yes, Kevin Hart, the comedian.
Yeah.
With the seemingly squeaky clean image.
Right.
What's so fascinating is the timing of his recent business moves, in relation to Diddy's arrest.
Yeah.
Just weeks before the news broke, Hart abruptly closes down his entire vegan restaurant chain,
Right.
Hart House.
And this wasn't like some struggling start. I mean, the reviews were glowing.
Right.
And from what I recall, the CEO was really optimistic about its future.
Yeah.
So why pull the plug so suddenly?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
The video you sent suggests that Hart might have been liquidating assets, preparing for potential legal trouble.
Oh.
Now, this might sound like a stretch,
Shit.
but remember, Hart and Diddy go way back.
Oh, right. Those infamous jacuzzi parties
Exactly.
that Diddy used to throw.
Yes.
Didn't Hart host one back in 2010
Yes, he did.
where someone's hair literally caught fire?
Exactly. So there's a clear connection there.
Right.
And there's a recent video clip making the rounds online where Hart is asked about those parties.
Mhm.
His reaction is, let's just say, not what you'd expect from someone with nothing to hide.
It practically jumps out of his skin to avoid the question.
Right.
It's like almost like he's been prepped by a legal team.
Exactly. It's this stark contrast
Yeah.
between his usual jovial persona
Yeah.
and this sudden evasiveness
Right.
that really makes you wonder what he knows.
Yeah, so we've got a potentially questionable financial decision.
Yes.
And then some seriously suspicious behavior. But to even speculate about Hart's involvement, we need to understand the scope of these allegations against Diddy.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
We are not talking about a minor slip-up, that's for sure.
Okay.
Over 120 victims have come forward,
Oh.
with accusations that range from trafficking and coercion to assault and drug offenses.
Oh my God.
There's even talk of a potential connection to underage victims.
Wow, that's not just a scandal, that's a potential criminal enterprise.
Exactly.
And if true, that would implicate a lot more people than just Diddy himself.
If even a fraction of these allegations are true, we're looking at a massive network
Right.
of enablers and participants.
Wow.
Which brings us to another intriguing development.
Okay.
Leonardo DiCaprio's conveniently timed Roman holiday.
Okay, so right as this whole Diddy scandal is exploding, Leo hops on a plane to Rome with his girlfriend.
Right.
Now on the surface, it looks like an innocent romantic getaway.
Sure.
But is there more to the story?
Yeah. Remember, DiCaprio was practically a fixture at Diddy's infamous white parties. And I'm not talking about standing around making small talk.
Yeah.
We're talking about being Diddy's top guest, the guy he always wanted by his side.
Right. And as if that wasn't enough to raise eyebrows, all of these old photos of a young Leo at those parties have resurfaced online.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder what those pictures don't show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the timing of this trip is just too perfect to ignore.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about the lengths people might go to distance themselves from a scandal of this magnitude.
It's like a classic Hollywood PR move.
Right.
Disappear to Europe until the dust settles.
Uh-huh.
But this whole thing about Diddy's parties having different levels of access,
Right.
a party within a party,
Yeah.
that's where things start to get really unsettling.
Right. We have firsthand accounts from people like Howard Stern,
Right.
who attended some of these parties.
Yeah.
Stern has described feeling like a complete outsider, relegated to the outer circle,
Uh-huh.
while something far more exclusive and potentially illicit
Right.
was happening behind closed doors.
And even the party Stern did see was full of, to quote him directly, chicks and orgying.
Yes. That definitely paints a picture.
Yeah. And this isn't just one person's word. There are anonymous sources who describe this inner sanctum where things escalated once the regular guests left.
Right.
It all points to a deliberate attempt to conceal certain activities from prying eyes.
Yes.
So it wasn't just about being exclusive.
Yeah.
It was about keeping a lid on some very dark secrets,
Uh-huh.
which if you look back at Diddy's past, There's a disturbing pattern here. I mean,
Hmm.
the 1999 nightclub shooting involving Diddy, Jennifer Lopez,
Yeah.
rapper Shine.
That incident is a prime example of the power dynamics at play here.
Right.
Remember, 3 people were injured.
Yeah.
Diddy was accused of firing the gun, and yet it was Shine who ended up serving 9 years in prison.
Hold on. 9 years.
Yes.
Something doesn't add up here.
Exactly. And that's what Shine is claiming now.
Okay.
He's alleging that Diddy orchestrated his conviction, using his influence to pressure witnesses into testifying against him.
And what about J-Lo?
Yeah.
She was with Diddy that night, right?
Yes, and her involvement is particularly interesting.
Okay.
At the time, she publicly defended Diddy, even offering to testify on his behalf.
Wow.
But now, with these new allegations against Diddy, surfacing her role in the 1999 shooting is being re-examined.
It's amazing how this one incident from Diddy's past is suddenly casting such a long shadow over everything.
It really does make you wonder how many other people have been caught in Diddy's web of influence and manipulation over the years,
Right?
and how many more are staying silent out of fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, it's like this whole situation has exposed this underbelly of Hollywood,
Right.
this code of silence that protects the powerful and keeps everyone else just walking on eggshells.
Precisely. And we're seeing that play out right now
Yeah,
with how other celebrities are reacting to this Diddy scandal.
right.
Some are staying completely silent, like they're afraid to even breathe Diddy's name.
Yeah, like Jay-Z. You'd think someone with his history and influence would speak out,
Right.
especially given his close relationship with Diddy.
Uh-huh.
But so far, crickets.
It's deafening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Decades of friendship, countless collaborations.
Right.
And now, at the moment of truth radio silence,
Yeah.
what does that tell you?
Well, it definitely raises questions about what Jay-Z might know.
Right.
But then you have someone like 50 Cent, who's never been one to shy away from stirring the pot.
The king of social media trolling.
Right.
Leave it to him to find humor in even the darkest situations.
Remember that missing person milk carton meme he posted with Jay-Z's face on it?
Oh, yes.
Savage, but also kind of brilliant.
It definitely got people talking.
Yeah.
But it also highlights the different ways people are choosing to engage with this story.
Right.
Some with humor, some with silence. And then there are those who are taking a very clear, very public stance against Diddy.
Like Keisha,
Yeah.
changing the lyrics to TikTok during her performance.
Exactly.
Talk about a power move.
It was a bold statement, especially considering how closely associated that lyric was with her image
Right.
early in her career.
Right.
To publicly disavow Diddy like that, knowing the potential backlash.
It definitely sends a message, but it also makes you wonder, why now?
Right.
Why are some celebrities choosing to speak out while others remain silent?
Right.
What's the calculation there?
I think it comes down to a few things.
Okay.
First, there's the fear factor.
Right.
Hollywood is built on relationships and favors.
Yeah.
Speaking out against someone like Diddy could have serious consequences for your career.
It's like that saying, the nail that sticks out gets hammered down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the question of reputation.
Right.
For someone like Keisha, who's already been through so much publicly aligning herself with someone accused of such heinous acts, could be devastating to her image.
Right. So for some, it's about self-preservation. But
Oh.
for others like Jay-Z, maybe it's something deeper.
Right.
Maybe there's loyalty involved, or perhaps even fear of what Diddy might know about them.
That's the thing about power.
Right.
It cuts both ways.
Right.
It can be used to protect you, but it can also be used against you.
Right.
And in this case, it seems like a lot of people are caught in the crosshairs.
This whole situation is like watching a house of cards slowly collapse.
Yes.
You can see the cracks forming, the foundation weakening, and you just know it's all going to come crashing down eventually.
And the question is, who will be left standing when the dust settles?
That's a great question. And to answer it, we need to go back to the beginning,
Okay.
to the catalyst for all of this, Diddy's arrest.
Right.
What exactly triggered this whole chain of events?
The details are still a bit murky, but from what we've been able to gather, it all started with a raid on one of Diddy's properties.
A raid, huh? What were they looking for?
Well, that's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The official statement was pretty vague.
Yeah.
You know, something about a tip regarding illegal activities taking place at the property. But the rumors swirling around are a lot more specific.
Okay, let's hear them. What's the word on the street?
Well, multiple sources are claiming the raid was related to a human trafficking operation.
Wow.
And not just any operation, but one that catered to a very exclusive clientele.
Whoa. Hold on. Are we talking about a high-end trafficking ring?
Yeah.
Involving powerful figures?
That's what the whispers are suggesting.
Mm.
And apparently the evidence seized during the raid was enough to issue an arrest warrant for Diddy.
Wow, and this is where it all circles back to those parties within a party, right? Those
Exactly.
exclusive gatherings where anything goes. It's
Yeah.
like we're peeling back layers of an onion, and with each layer, it gets darker and more disturbing.
And the deeper we go, the more names are starting to pop up. People who were frequent guests at those parties.
Right.
People who may have known more than they let on.
Like Kevin Hart and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Possibly.
Are they implicated in any of this?
At this point, it's all speculation.
Right.
But their names are definitely being mentioned in connection with the investigation.
Okay.
And their recent behavior, Hart closing down his businesses, DiCaprio fleeing to Rome, it certainly doesn't help their case.
It's like everyone is scrambling to distance themselves from Diddy before the whole thing implodes. But what happens to the people who can't distance themselves?
Right.
The people who were allegedly victimized by this operation?
That's the real tragedy here.
Yeah.
These are the voices we need to be amplifying.
Yeah.
Their stories need to be heard, and they deserve justice.
It's so easy to get caught up in the celebrity drama, you know?
Yeah.
The who's who of it all.
Right.
But we can't lose sight of the fact that this is about real people, real lives that have been impacted in unimaginable ways.
Absolutely. And that's why this story is so important.
Right.
It's not just about gossip and speculation. It's about shining a light on a dark corner of our society.
Yeah.
A corner where power and privilege are often used to silence and exploit the vulnerable.
It's a heavy topic, but one that we need to talk about. So what happens next?
Oh.
What should we be paying attention to as this story unfolds?
I think the most important thing to watch is who else comes forward. Will other victims break their silence?
Right.
Will other celebrities speak out against Diddy?
Right.
Or will they choose to protect their own interests?
And what about the authorities? Will they be able to build a solid case against Diddy and bring him to justice?
Right.
Will other powerful figures be implicated?
Those are the big questions hanging over this whole situation.
Yeah.
The answers could have far-reaching consequences for the entertainment industry and beyond.
We've covered a lot of ground today,
Well,
from
yeah.
Diddy's arrest in the alleged trafficking ring
Yeah.
to the reactions of other celebrities and the potential fallout. It's a complex,
Is
a disturbing story.
very
A lot of moving parts.
lot of moving parts.
It's a story that reminds us that we can't always believe what we see on the surface. There's often a darker reality hidden beneath the glamour and glitz, a reality that we need to acknowledge and confront.
Well said.
It's been an intense deep dive, to say the least.
It has.
Thanks for helping us navigate this tangled web.
Always a pleasure.
And to you listening, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep asking questions, because the truth, as they say, will always come out. Just sometimes it takes a little digging to find it.